already understand the premise of being here. We're going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. I started a community years ago when I was in-house, helping in-house marketers navigate things that are very unique challenges to them. And one of the things that's been really cool since I've gone out on my own and started Growth Sprints has been working with my client, Sendoso, who is also a customer of Stefan's at Dream Data. And it's been amazing to see all of this cool stuff. I'm going to share a ton of behind the scenes today. I hope I blurred everything out. Hopefully I don't have to panic, close as I'm scrolling through my slides real quick of did I blur everything out? I'm pretty sure I did. But I just want to share a bunch of behind the scenes stuff of how we use this, how effective everything is. Because Stefan, if I'm being really honest with you, the reason I reached out to you to do this was I've been blown away, not just using Dream Data for myself, but also seeing just how effective it was at Sendoso,
That's nice to hear, Brendan.
It's just compliments, right?
But I think it is. Well, I was thinking before this session started that I was thinking most of the people who bash attribution on the LinkedIn feed have never ever seen a world-class B2B attribution vendor and the data that you're actually able to see. Mm-hmm. They're mad at the original source field in their CRM because that says something about what was the last session before somebody converted on a 52 session journey. Yeah. And that, yes, marketing looks horrible when you look at that session. But if you look at where the demand truly comes from, then you'll see that, marketing in the Sendoso case, maybe we're part of gifting, marketing was part of a webinar, and all those sorts of things. So I think the real enemy here is the original source fields of CRMs that are just completely misleading the conversation about marketing.
I completely agree. And as somebody who lives heavily in content, I remember Gary Vee famously said something to the effect of, somebody's like, what's the ROI of an Instagram post? And he was like, I don't know, what's the ROI of your mom? You can't even begin to quantify some of this stuff. And people are trying to, I've seen people try to quantify the ROI of a comment on LinkedIn. And as somebody who lives and breathes content, it is really hard to continue arguing hey, this is a campaign and it's overall, and it's just something we have to believe it, right? The problem is it's really hard to measure what matters unless you have a platform that shows you a view like this. Here's why I love the views in Dream Data. I'm going to be really promotional for a second. I love this because this is something that visualizes the value to non-marketers. That's the biggest thing. It's the thing I said as soon as we signed on today. I am here to help people build defensible careers that they're proud of. And one of the easiest things that helps you do that increases your tenure in a position, gets you more budget, gets you headcount, lets you do marketing you're proud of, is being able to show a journey like this. Look at all these different touch points. Now, this is an actual journey from Sendoso, and this is what it looks like. This is what you would see in there and be able to say, all right, cool. Look at all these touch points. And here's
about this term of brand. And I guess it's just when you start cold in a new company, first thing you'll do is you'll start to define a set of accounts that you want to be targeting. And how do you open up those accounts? Well, you don't open up those accounts with saying, buy our product, book a demo call. Yeah. You need to build up trust in your brand. So brand is also, you can say, a different expression of saying something that happens early in the customer journey. Starting to unfreeze to kind of start the customer journeys. And I think that brand is a good, a broad definition of what that means, but to politely be allowed to actually enter into a conversation with these accounts and these people and do that through good brand action.
But this is all brand. Email is brand, events are brand, dinners, social, referrals, direct traffic driven by brand marketing, community is brand, word of mouth is brand, webinars. This is brand right now. And the only way they've been able to show the ROI of a brand investment is with a platform that's able to track some of these things. And again, we're not looking for causation. We're just looking for correlation, direction, things like that. They're able to make investments that matter because now they can visualize things. This is something they were sharing internally. And they see this in their own data that they can now say, hey, when we have this level of engagement on LinkedIn or this level of engagement or this level of engagement, deal sizes are way higher and we win more. Okay, cool. We can make more of an investment in LinkedIn, not just because we believe in it, but because we can actually see in the data, the dream data, if you will, that this actually works, that this is worth investing in. And they can do the marketing that they love and that works. And I think that's the hardest thing for marketers right now is you're stuck doing all this stuff you hate that doesn't really work, but it is the stuff that gets the last click,
And this is exactly what we talked about in the beginning, Brendan, about being able to sort of speak the language of the other parts of your organization. In case it shows, you want these deals that has 24% higher deal value and a better closing rate, or do you want these deals where there's low closing rate and lower deal sizes? That's language the salespeople gets.
Absolutely. Do you want double the deal size? Maybe getting them to follow these specific people on LinkedIn. Now, again, bad marketing would be like, okay, cool, let's just follower campaign, get everybody to follow them. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. You can't just like manipulate it and be like, let's just buy followers. Like people make all sorts of weird takeaways from this. But again, it's doing the stuff that actually matters, you know? So I think the biggest thing that, like I said, that's what I'm really excited about. I'm curious. I would love it if everybody would drop this into the chat here. Tell me what's one bet you wish you could make in your marketing if attribution wasn't a blocker. What is something like super fun, super interesting, a bet you would make, and it's like, dude, if I could prove the ROI of this, I would love to make this bet. Because I think, Stefan, I want to ask you, but you kind of have it, right?
Yeah, but I can share one story, which is we started playing around with Reddit ads in the fall and starting posting some of our most successful memes from LinkedIn on Reddit. And they did actually get a lot of upvotes, but I have not been able to find any proof at all that people arrived to our website afterwards and people actually became pipeline or something like that. So
yeah.
that Reddit is kind of, at least for now, the one that got away from me, but we might be back as kind of Reddit continues to grow. But we had a lot of verified successful memes from LinkedIn that I just started deploying as ads on Reddit, and they did get a lot of upvotes. I just haven't been able to prove the value of it as of now.
It could be one of those things where it's like, a year from now, you're like, oh wow, like we're seeing a bunch of Reddit touch points. That was the first time they got exposed to the brand. Like that's it. But again, you'll be able to see it because you're not married to last click attribution.
Yeah, exactly.
Or first click, which is even worse, of like they clicked a Reddit, meme, and then they converted 3 years later, guessed it was Reddit. Like maybe not, right? But you can see the whole journey.
Yeah,
right? It's cool. Will said if attribution was a blocker, I'd make a bet on brand and community as a massive strategic moat against any competitor. I would agree. I think like we can call brand a lot of different things. I think this community all of a sudden, events I'm seeing in the chat, Jay said YouTube, same for me. Like being able to show leadership, the impact. I think like YouTube is one of like the last holdouts of where it is a little bit more democratized in terms of distribution and stuff. Video is definitely worth investing in from a resonant, from a don't market more, matter more, as Jay would say, kind of standpoint. It's nice to be able to show those types of things.
So I wish more platforms would have like an account concept like LinkedIn has. If YouTube had an account concept, that would be great for us B2B marketers.
Yeah, they're not on the B2B game yet, but we'll try to get them there. I really think we got two options, right? We either keep optimizing for broken dashboard confessionals, if you will, or we start measuring what actually moves pipeline.